It's exactly 10 days to the 2023 general elections. Hope you are ready with your PVC, and I hope you're also going to get into the process of voting. Well, my name is William Sabule, and this is the newspaper review here on Thavtv. And with me here on the program is Miss Natasha Brown, the delectable Natasha Brown. You're welcome. Hope you have your PVC and ready to.
Oh, yes.
And you've decided.
I have.
I'm always asking you the same question.
I know.
I can't stop.
I know. I have decided, and I'm sure I've decided correctly.
That's great. Great to know. And if you're out there, you're still thinking of who to vote, you can consult me though. Send me a mail or drop a comment right there, and I'll respond to you as to who to vote. That is if you're confused though. By now you should know though, but if you don't know yet, just drop a message there and I'm going to respond to you. Alright, you can also drop your message or your opinion concerning the headlines we're going to be reading to you shortly. If you're seeing this video for the first time, do well to subscribe, because this is where we bring you the headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and we're going to start today's headlines on Thisdaynewpaper for today, the 15th of February 2023. Anyway, before I go on, Natasha, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Hope you enjoyed the Valentine's Day.
I did. Thank you. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was a cool, chilling evening. There was not much money. Plus the networks, one of the networks went really crazy.
I think it was MTN.
Yeah. And they went really crazy.
MTN.
Yeah.
But good enough. I don't make use of MTN. I think a lot of our network providers have been messy this period.
And for yesterday,
it's a lot.
I'm sure they ruined some people's evening. But
right. Some people went through breakups, I'm sure.
Because the story of, you weren't checking my code, did you turn off your phone? That kind of thing. But then, just so you know, we had that kind of breakdown network-wise here in the city of Port Harcourt in River State. And so we're going to move on to our headlines for today. Let's begin with this day. And on this day here, we have as headline, Buhari hails Pat on appointment as Gavi CEO. Incoming chief executive pledges to support countries scale up critical routine immunization programs. All right, moving on to other headlines here. We see as the main headline, presidency, federal government, CBN to take position on currency swap after Supreme Court determination today. Emefiele, politicians buying, storing new banknotes for elections. Berates fuel stations over alleged extortion of customers. Courts diplomatic community on Naira redesign cashless policy. Maintains currency hoarders, abusers will go to jail. Governors mopping up new notes, CSOs alleged. All right, just to stay on this story, we got news that the Supreme Court has also got a new ruling. Not ruling per se, but they adjourned the case up until 22nd of this same month. What that means is that the court's ruling that came up last week as regards the new Naira notes and the old Naira notes still in use is still going to be active up till 22nd. So let me just allow you react to that story, because there are more details coming up from that court adjournment today. All right.
You know, I've always told you one of the biggest issues I've had with this leadership has been they always try to push the ball around, making it look like, oh, it's not our fault. These are the people not doing their work. Nobody wants to take sole responsibility for why the country is the way it is.
They're very good at blaming it on something.
And it's this country is funny, honestly, because CBN puts out an instruction. They're supposedly the regulatory body as to our financial institutions here in Nigeria, right? They put out a policy, they put out an instruction. Nigerians all over are scrambling to make sure they meet the deadline, which to a large extent they had been able to even mop up a lot of money in circulation, excess money in circulation already, up to 2.3 trillion or thereabout. They had already done that, and more was to be mopped up. And all of a sudden, three states go up to the apex core, and then this is what we are seeing. All of a sudden, Nigerians are asking, oh, can we use it? Can we not use it? Are we stopping? Are we not stopping? What's happening? Come
and
on.
nobody's coming out to douse the confusion.
10 days to the election. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? I mean, okay, so now the Supreme Court has come up to say that the case has been adjourned to the 22nd of February.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Yet, the instruction is still there, subtly out there, that you can't make use of your old Naira note. Today, coming to the studio, I already was interfacing with people, and a lot of shop owners were not taking the old Naira note.
True. I had the same experience. Yeah.
Transportation people were not taking the old Naira note.
And there's no new Naira notes anywhere.
Right, and then, so people are not taking the old Naira notes anymore, so people are scrambling to see how they can be able to get these new Naira notes. Now, people are still going to the banks to say, okay, we still have this old Naira notes, please take it, give us new Naira. Banks are saying, go to CBN because the deadline is passed. These people are going to, for example, even here right here in River State, I saw a video of a lot of people, a crowd of people around the CBN branch there, trying to, pay in their old Naira notes. And I don't know what the outcome of that is yet, but as of this day, I'm already hearing that in Edo State, it's been a roller coaster. You go to the CBN says go to the bank. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
Why is the CBN not putting their foot down to do the needful? The needful, by doing the needful, I mean, why is the new Naira note not yet in proper circulation? What's going on with this hoarding? What is happening? Right? So for me, personally, it's not really affecting me because most times I'm very digital, I'm very mobile. So whatever I do with my phone. But even at that, we know we've been having a lot of network issues. But I'm saying for the other little things that you need your money for, your cash for, like going to the market. Funny thing that this policy has done. Now you go to the market woman is saying, oh yeah, you can transfer to me, and I'm like, okay.
Not all of them do.
Majority of them, actually.
Not all of them. So.
Yeah, but majority of them. So there's some progressive thing that this whole Naira redesign thing has done. A lot of Nigerians are coming into saying, okay, we really need to embrace this digital economy that we are pushing for to be a progressive country. But at the end of the day, if we're going to do things right, let's do it right. Let's see it through to the end. Like, I don't, it's crazy. So now we have to wait up until February 22nd, and that's just 3 days to the election, from 22nd to the 25th.
Yeah.
Really, what can they do in the space of that time?
You know, the confusion that I see in all of this is the fact that the CBN, that is the regulatory body of these banks, which is like the main source to which you can get money or deposit money, it's not saying anything about the court ruling. It's as if the Supreme Court's judgment is independent of the operations of the CBN. So it's almost like the CBN is not saying that we are going to adhere to the Supreme Court's ruling and say, okay, between now and the 22nd of this month, you're free to use the old Naira notes. So banks, go ahead and collect the old Naira notes. That's not what we are getting. I've had the privilege of speaking to some of my friends that work in the banks. A few of them are, branch managers and cash officers, that they control the votes, money going into the vote and out. And you hear them tell you straight up that CBN's instruction to stop collecting old Naira notes started from the 10th of this month. And there's no new instruction countering what was there before, saying that, okay, you can resume collection of the old Naira notes while we work on getting you guys new notes.
Brings me to the question, who is in charge?
Yeah, that's a very big question that Nigerians need to ask. This government, are they saying that even the presidency doesn't have control over the CBN? So the CBN is totally independent of what is going on, whereas they are the genesis of all of this confusion, all of these issues we are facing. So these monies, the new Naira note that is, it's been released in piecemeals. We understand that they're trying to control vote buying. So if, yes, they roll out this money in chunks, they may not have achieved the whole aim of controlling how politicians will spend in this election.
But even at that, my biggest pain with all the stress we have been going through with this whole new policy is that I'm still yet to see heads roll. I'm still yet to see certain banks sanctioned. I'm still yet to see certain licenses revoked. I'm still yet to see certain managers of banks
in doing
sacked. Why do I say that? It's is because we have seen banks that had their vaults stacked up with new Naira cash, yet you're not giving people their money. We've also seen videos of people having bags of new Naira notes, spraying at weddings and whatnot. Who gave to these people?
Yeah. So yeah, that's
nothing is happening anywhere. Nobody's taking the hit for anything. Everybody's just doing the country as usual. It's a crazy time we're in.
We hear the blame games left and right. It is you, it is not me. It is the banks, it's not the banks.
This government has been a big time disappointment for me.
Yes, it has been, but at this point in time, I just don't know. I hope that you know, the presidency, as it were, or the government in power should work hand in hand with CBN, because to me it feels as if CBN is very much on their own on this thing. So what I was saying earlier is that
but even Buhari has said a number of times he's 100% with the CBN.
So whatever decision the CBN takes is behind them. So the court ruling as to go ahead and be using the money until the 22nd based on the new judgment or based on the new ruling or whatever that is. It's now contradicting what the CBN is doing, because if they are getting that and it's not going to have any effect on the usage or the non-usage of the money, the old and the new, then what is it for? What are they going to the court for? We know that more states have also joined in the suit. I think the states that have joined in the suit are about 4 more or so. And then now, it is not, okay, the first one, like I was saying earlier, stopped on the 10th. You speak to bank managers and you know, cash officers, and they tell you that CBN said we should stop. And then whatever old notes you bring to our banks, we will direct you back to CBN offices around the country. Go there and deposit your money. So do they have new notes? No. So their vaults are empty. They don't have new notes. CBN has promised that they are going to send in more notes for them to disburse, but that hasn't happened yet. And my guess is that that is going to happen maybe after the elections.
You've even heard of the bigger one where actually we're even printing our notes outside the country.
Oh,
I heard that and I was confused for a second.
Have poorly printed
I was confused for a second.
Poorly printed notes in circulation.
What?
We have some notes that part of the money are printed. You have the print on one part, other parts is showing just white paper. So, you know, there are so many wrong things going on at the moment that needs to be addressed. And the federal government is not speaking. CBN is not talking. What we hear are instructions directed to the banks. Do this, do this, do that. And all of those instructions, none is in favor of the old Naira notes. Everything is saying, don't use the old notes anymore.
It is frustrating. One of my biggest issues that I've had with this particular leadership and this particular dispensation or whatever, it's because of the PR lapse there is. Why are you not speaking to Nigerians? Why are you not bringing us into what is going on? So right now it just seems like there's a backlash between the CBN, federal government, and the Supreme Court. Like it's just 3 of them having it. Like Nigerians are just the grass.
And then they
say do this, we do. Oh, don't do this, we don't do. Oh, what are we doing? It's crazy. That is my problem.
It's so unfortunate.
Take the people to heart and carry us along. It's not by the Supreme Court coming out to say, oh, okay, adjourn till 22nd. Why? What for? What are we supposed to do within this time frame? It's
the funny part is, had it been this wasn't an electioneering month and year, I promise you wouldn't have heard any politician's voice, because this doesn't really affect them so much. They are good where they are. If they need money, if they need the 200 million of the new Naira note, they will get it. But because it's an election year, they need money in bulk to do things, to bribe as much as they want. So this is why you see them going to court. They really don't care about the ordinary Nigerians. This would have been a really tough call for an ordinary Nigerian. But, well, let's see how all of this will play out at the end of the day. But we need to have the CBN talk, and federal government needs to talk. We need to understand what's going on. What is the standing order? Isn't that his job? Oh, no, Twitter.
To speak to us?
When Twitter touches his tweet, we hear his voice. That guy is more about social media.
I haven't heard from him in a moment.
He hasn't been talking about anything concerning the CBN. He has been on a low-key these days, and he's about fake news. It's like they employed him to follow through on fake news. He does not want fake news. That's when you hear Lai Mohammed's voice. Now, there are a lot of things to talk about, and they are not talking. CBN governor gives instruction every time. That's what we get from him. All right, we're going to move on to our next paper for the day, and that would be Vanguard. Vanguard newspaper for today, the 15th of February. And the headlines here read, Naira swap, cash crunch takes toll on small businesses as old banknotes still circulate. Page 26 is where you find details of that story. Those under probe behind plot to remove Bauer, EFCC alleges. Those under probe behind plot to remove Bauer, EFCC alleges. CSO's petition National Assembly insists EFCC boss must leave office, serve his prison term. Oh, really? They want him to go to prison? Oh, the guy has been working though, as far as I'm concerned, but now they're insisting that he must go to prison. Well, you will get details of that story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to the main headline here on the Vanguard, we see as headline here, no need extending deadline for old notes. CBN vows to arrest POS operators charging exorbitantly. Banks, business owners reject old notes. 472 CSO hail Emefiele for standing firm. Say only vote buyers complaining. Reject old notes, face sanctions. Gandu J. Abiodu threatened banks, orders federal government to take position after Supreme Court ruling. Well, we already have that ruling, so we are waiting to hear the federal government's position as concerning that ruling. All right, we'll take a little more headline here. It says, Fani Kayode, watch your utterances. DSS warns political parties. Details you find on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then Buhari calls for suspension of blanket visa ban. All right, if you need to get details of that blanket visa ban, go to page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we will also take this one. It says, PDP crisis, court extends order stopping Wike's suspension. That's an interesting headline. And you find that story on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. And also we also see here on the Vanguard front page, we see this picture of corps members, giving their salute at their passing out parade yesterday. Congratulations to all of the new corps members that have just left the camp to serve. That is, they are not leaving, they are just leaving camp to start their service here. Congratulations to all of them and wish them best of luck as you go out there to your primary places of assignment. All right, Natasha, I'm going to just leave this paper open to you to pick any of the headlines. I'm really hoping that that blanket ban is actually looked into by the Dubai government. I hope that it's lifted. Yeah. It's not. Nigerians are not the only ones with criminal issues. Come on. But they have been disturbing the peace. We have, but the whole blanket thing. Oh no, that's too much. That's too much. So I hope that it's actually looked into. And then, a lot of us who would have wanted to go to Dubai for the Valentine, it was too much of a hassle. Okay. So I hope that is looked into. Okay, but bringing it down to Wike. And right, stopping him being ousted from the party due to anti-party activities, allegedly. I think it's to his gain, it's to his credit, so to speak. But honestly, who would want that kind of person in their party? It is evident. You are not for me. If you're not for me, you are an open prey to be used by any of my enemies. Simple. It's as simple as ABC. So you're making it look like you're in my party, but you are not for me. But you're not against me. You are just there. You're indifferent. Come on. Who are we joking with? Who are we kidding? Right? And then even when I'm going to have my campaigns in your state, there's all this rockhold, there's all this, you don't want to give me a space to use, you want to give me a smaller space to use. There is all of this drama going on between myself and you. And you think that what we're having, the inner rancor we're having between both of ourselves is just between us both? It's happening to the general party. And because it's looking like they're not having a grip on the party, outsiders, onlookers, Nigerians are saying, okay, your camp is not together. Your family is not together. So what am I entrusting to you? Nigeria is a bigger family. It's a bigger crop. What am I going to entrust to you? So it's already giving us
some slight issues with their integrity as a party and every other thing that they seem to profess. So definitely, if the party did come together to say that we need you out, they're not in the wrong.
But he has already taken actions to stop that from happening.
That brings me to the other side where I'm like, oh, really, you really want to be part of this party at the end of the day?
I think it's about
because when you hear him make utterances, he sounds like, I don't care what you want to do. I am the Lord and all. If you take me out of the party, this party is not going to stand.
But that's not
so
true.
I was a bit shocked that even when they tried to take him out of the party, he had to make moves to ensure that he's not out. I'm like, oh, you really still want to be part of this party, right? But at the end of the day, I hope that they're just able to settle amicably, which I doubt will happen, because 25th is just around the corner.
Well, I feel that the governor wouldn't want to leave the party at this time because he has
a candidate
to deliver.
He has a candidate.
He has a candidate to deliver. Leaving the party at this time will make that candidate of his that is not even a politician. He's just entering the game as a beginner, as far as I'm concerned. The edge he has is the governor. The governor is his mouthpiece. The governor is the, how would I put it, is the lion in front of him, fighting all the battles. So if the governor loses his position in the party,
it's going to
there's a huge chance that he will not make it.
Good, Abula, you've made a very salient point. You made a very good point. It brings me to the question: is it self-interest over party interest?
Oh yeah, but that's what politicians are about.
Wait.
It's most times about themselves. Forget about the party or the umbrella.
Hold on. Your self-interest is embedded in party interest.
It's supposed
the party
to be
interest is embedded in self-interest. It's a hand in glove type of thing.
But you find that most politicians don't do it that way.
No. Most of them do it that way. They understand the game of it. They understand that for me to be able to get what I need to be able to grease my party. For my party to be able to get what they need from me, they need to be able to make me happy. It's a hand in glove thing. So at the end of the day, Wike has been shouting, oh, I don't want Atiku to be there. He's not viable to be there. It's not their turn, whatever. But the party has said we want him here. Only him and his Super 5. So, that said, we don't want you there. But the larger crop of the party, they want him there. It means that you're a lone voice, so to speak. But you're not supporting us as a larger crop of the party. But you want us to come out for you as supposedly a minute part of the party. So it brings me to the question of, yes, you have your selfish interest, but on the larger part of things, we need the party to be functional, for your end to be functional. So what are we going to do? And then you hear we can make utterances, and then you are wondering, is this man for Tinubu? Is he for Peterobi? What is going on with you?
That confusion is in the minds of a lot of people. Even his followers, they wonder what their principle has been about. You
understand? So my point is, if really he wants to be part of this party and not vote for Atiku, can you keep mom already? Can you keep mom? He talks too much.
He's not that kind of man.
Can you keep mom as pertaining to national politics and relating to Atiku? Focus on your gubernatorial thing. Focus on that and leave him out of your mouth. But every time he makes utterances based off of national politics, it seems like he's always painting Atiku in the bad light, which inadvertently paints the party in a bad light. So it's never just a me and you thing. It's the broader picture.
Also looking at the position of Wike in the party, he's like a statesman in the party, someone that has claimed in the past to have upheld the party when
which is undeniable.
Yes,
it is undeniable.
And I guess that's what's giving him all of the leverage to say, this party is me. I am this party, and you guys cannot pull me out. And I'm giving too much.
The issue I have with that, the issue I have with those kind of tendencies and that kind of character trait, is because it brings me back to a certain presidential candidate who always says, Emilia Call, it's my turn. Why? Because I've paid my dues. So because you've paid your dues, that means we're answerable to you?
Because it's
downright selfish.
And that's the problem. That's the same issue that is now bedeviling the PDP and Wike, as it were, and of course the APC and their presidential candidate, where if you look at the body language of big wigs in the APC, it's not as if they're 100% behind the presidential candidate. It's almost like we don't have a choice at this point in time. Let's just dance through, because it's our party. We cannot deny our party. So let's just follow through. But from the beginning, right after the primaries, if you look at the body language, the atmosphere around the APC didn't tell us that, oh yes, we got exactly what we desired. So they're just there and they're doing what they have to do. Same as the PDP and Wike. Wike is there, but somehow he's been doing stuff to protect himself, his interest. He's been doing a lot, and if you look at it, he doesn't have a choice. He has to continue in that light. If not, he would have moved to another party, but he cannot do that right now.
The stakes are high.
Too much for him. He has so much to lose if he leaves that party. All right, we're going to leave that story right there and move on to our last paper for the day. But just before that paper, we're going to take a very short break. Once we come back, we will continue with the papers for today right here on the Newspaper Review.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Thavtv Media give life to your dreams. Thavtv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on the Newspaper Review on Thavtv. My name is William Sabule, and I've been dealing with the headlines for today with the beautiful Miss Natasha Brown. We're going to continue with our paper, and this time we're going to the leadership. On the leadership here, as headline for today, the 15th of February 2023, we have as headline, NEC endorses Nigeria Agenda 2050, targets 165 million jobs. All right, page 21 is where you get details of that story. Another story here on the leadership newspaper. We see here, PMB ask UAE to lift blanket visa ban on Nigeria. Page 11 is where the details will be on the leadership newspaper. Moving downwards here, marketers seek customs CG's arrest over 1.56 billion naira tankers auction. All right, need to get details. The leadership is where you will find that story. Anxiety as Supreme Court hears suit on Naira swap policy today. Well, we spoke about that earlier. The ruling is out already. We also see here as the main headline, insecurity. Elections must hold in Southeast. Northern elders tell federal government. Elections must hold in Southeast. Northern elders tell federal government. Afenifere warns against foisting interim government on Nigeria. Tinubu will deliver as my successor, PMB declares. PDP will form next government, says Atiku. Details of all of this you'll find on page 4 of the leadership newspaper. We also see here, G5 not dead. We are set for action. Wike speaking right there on page 6 of the leadership newspaper. And lastly, I'll take this one. It says, GOC's commanders get marching orders on peaceful elections. Page 12 is where you'll find details of that story. All right, Ms. Natasha, let me come to you. Elections must hold in Southeast. Northern elders tell federal government. Also, we see right under that, Afenifere warns against foisting interim government on Nigeria. Then Tinubu will deliver as my successor. President Muhammadu Buhari declares that he was in Imo State, I think yesterday or so, and he believes that Tinubu.
Did he really say that though? That's laughable. It's laughable because, I mean, initially he didn't even want to join him to campaign with him, which already did send a subtle signal that I'm not endorsing you. And now all of a sudden, because there was some uproar to say you have to come out.
Oh yeah, because Nigerians saw it.
Now you're beginning to say some type of thing. But the funny thing is, he's saying one thing and his body language is saying another thing.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I totally trust. It's just funny to hear that.
Yeah.
But okay, so bringing us back to Southeast issue. I mean, I was shocked yesterday to still find out that in a lot of eastern states, or in most eastern states, They're still doing the stay-at-home thing every other Monday.
Yeah, well, I guess those set of people doing that are just a few people that will not let go of, the war for the IPOP and all of that. And for me, it's ridiculous. It's time to move on. It's time to move on and make a statement. There's one chance for you to put a Southeasterner at the helm of affair. Well, how about starting with that? How about leaving all these mundane actions and starting with that?
You have been saying that Nigerians have been sidelining you, that we are marginalizing you, and then now that you have the chance with a popular, in fact, the most popular candidate right now, you are trying to botch your chance with what's going right.
And then also going to, if that continues, you're also trying to enforce some kind of measures on people to stay at home and not get involved in the election. So what are you saying?
And then even create a form of unrest so that you don't come out en masse.
And then one thing people like that don't understand, that the next government might, by disenfranchising your people, what it means is that the next government will go to another set of people, and then whatever it is that you are clamoring for, you will clamor for a longer time.
Even further impoverishing your people.
Yes, you will clamor for a longer time.
But the thing I'm looking at is, what is the primary concern of the northern elders here? It's a good thing that they're coming out to speak, and they're saying that elections will hold, and that it will hold in those in states in that region, southeastern region. But I'm like, really, what is your motive for saying this? Is it really for national peace, or should I say that everybody has their fair share in this whole electoral process? I really don't know what their motive is, or what their intention is, and it's not my cup of tea. But the point is, people in the southeastern region need to sit up.
Yeah.
You have been wanting a man of yours at the helm of affairs. Sit up, rally around support for your own, and put him there.
Yeah.
But even at that, we have not even seen the massive support from his own people.
Yeah, it's sad.
Peterobi, and it's funny.
And to think that we, Ebonyi State, when we're going state by state for the number of PVCs that were collected, Ebonyi State had over 500,000 PVCs uncollected. That's a southeastern state. I mean, it's unthinkable, it's unimaginable that they are so apolitical. They just left 500,000. Do you know what that can do to any vote?
So it seems like you're fighting for one thing, and on the other hand, you really do not care if you get what you're fighting for. So what is the purpose of fighting at the end of the day?
They want war. Is it the war that they are looking for?
Which will not even happen. Which will not even happen.
This is modern day. Things like that don't just happen.
Right, and with the whole insecurity going on there, I mean, I'm wondering what the pulse is like in most of their states, because I'm sure that, coming out to vote, and then you don't even know when some unknown gunmen will come out, wield some weapons and all of that.
Kind of tension
but I hope that the security arms, they're ready.
Yeah.
They've stepped up and they're ready to man down every state and every LG and every polling unit, so to speak, so that we can go out en masse to vote. And now it's not just only security agents that I'm talking about and arms. The people of these eastern states should wake up.
Yeah.
Come out en masse. And funny thing is, most of the time, the people who end up lauding certain dictatorial tendencies over others are only a minute set of people.
Yeah.
It is a funny thing. Yeah. The Simon Ekpa. I mean, where is that man? You just have some stooges down here that you have indoctrinated, and those people are holding almost the whole eastern states to ransom.
And suddenly,
and even when the Indibo, how do they call it? The elders, the chiefs, they speak a word. It seems like their words don't hold water. It's a funny thing to look at, but I hope that Easterners rise up and they see that it's their time to take the bull by the horns and put one of their own there. Not necessarily for selfish interest or whatever, but to let the world know and Nigerians know that we are ready to really own it.
Yeah.
We're ready to get there and to also do our own bit
Yeah.
in the national development sphere. So at the end of the day, I hope that they do the needful, and I hope that it's safe and secure for each and every one of us
to vote. And whether we like it or not, the truth is that the reason for all of these agitations that we see or we've seen in the past is simply because some people are feeling marginalized. Some people are feeling we're not getting what we deserve. We feel like
we don't have equal space.
yeah, we don't. They feel like they're not part of the country. So if there is proper restructuring, as it were, or the government is paying attention to every sector, as it were, within the country, we'll not be having any of this agitation. If down here we feel like, okay, we are well taken care of because of what we are contributing to the country, would you hear anybody's voice? The only reason why some people are saying that we want our own country, we want to break out, is because they feel marginalized. So if there's a chance to feel like we are now a part of this country, or we have our man at the helm of affairs and we're going to get this and this and that, there will be no need for all of this.
And
So
a number of times, whatever it is that you really desire, whatever it is that you really need, most times it's not given to you. You have to take it.
You have to take it. You have to make effort.
So,
and this is the time to make all of that effort, all of that sacrifice for the world to hear your voice, for Nigeria to move on, because you decided, because you came out to speak, because you came out to join your voice in the fight to get a better Nigeria. But if you keep quiet or you sit on the fence, I'm afraid you may not have the right to complain, because whatever you get is what you will stay with. All right, that's all we'll be taking today. I want to thank you so much, Natasha, for always making it to the program, and to our VVIPs, thank you so much for staying and for watching the program. My name is Williams Abule. Until next time, we'll come your way again with another episode of the Newspaper Review. You stay well and get ready to vote on the 25th of this month. That is February. See you next time.